All right, check one, check two. This is how we are going to do this here, right now, is the Cannabis Coffee Hour podcast. I'm your host, Rob Cantrell. We're going to have some coffee from Peru. I got some great beans, Peruvian beans. I've been looking into it. All organic. The Mayorga Organics. The Mayorga Organics. I got this big bag of Peruvian beans, and it looks like this place is like this free trade. I'm looking on there. I actually got it. And that's Sam's Club. Where did I go? I went to Costco with my brother-in-law and got this big-ass bag. They had these big bags of Starbucks, but I just wasn't feeling that. But I got this pound of, this is pretty good. Ooh, that's real good. Organic Peruvian coffee from Mayorga. You can go to Mayor Organics.com. They got coffee from all around. It looks like Central America, and it's like their purpose is all about sustainability. That's the buzzword, folks, is sustainability. Because that's what I was thinking about today was balance, sustainable, meaning it can last. And that's what I'm trying to do. We're all trying to make it last. Well, I'm trying to make it last with a little bit of cannabis and a little bit of coffee. I love this podcast because it gives me a chance to kick back. But then it also is creating content, and it kind of fits my brand. I do like me some coffee, and I do like me some cannabis. I actually got somebody gifted me some homegrown, right outside, not too powerful, but tastes great. Whoever grew it loved it. If you get this is kind of like this coffee, this small stores, sustainable. We don't just source and sell artisanal organic products. We exist and operate with the purpose of eliminating systematic poverty in rural Latin America through reasonable trade. Oh, nice. So these guys are all about sustainability. It's all about giving the farmer a fair share. I guess when you look for coffee or product outside of America, people are trying to take advantage of people working for a lower rate. That's just the gig of it all. Man, this coffee is good. I'm in my second French press. I'm excited about this podcast. We got some great Peruvian coffee. I've never had Peruvian coffee. I have to say, my roommate in DC was Peruvian, this dude. He was part Peruvian. He always talked about being from Peru and Mount Machu Picchu, which I haven't been to, but it's supposedly beautiful. I mean, this shit's way down in the Amazon. I haven't done that much traveling in South America except for Puerto Vallarta, Cancun, and Baja. Yeah, those are the three places in Mexico, and Mexico City. I've been to Mexico a few times, right in college. And one time for a comedy event, I took a cruise from LA to Baja, California, and it had bands on there. And that's when the cruise was the bands were the Flaming Lips, Slightly Stupid, and G-Love and Special Sauce. Kind of like a jam band. I would say it was like jam band Coachella, somewhere in the middle there. But it was a cool experience. I think they only did it twice, but it was a company that started up. A friend of a friend reached out for booking a comedian, and they booked me on it, and I got a free ride down to Baja and back and performed in this little cabana. Not cabana, it was a little small bar where the Flaming Lips were playing the big main stage upstairs. It was dope. The shows were weird. They didn't really know what they were doing. I had to pretty much figure out everything myself. yeah, there was no opener or anything. I remember I literally had to just go up there at a certain time and just pick up a mic on a stage and just go for it. And one time this dude tried to do like 15 minutes in front of me. But I thought he was like a real comedian, but he ended up just being some weird open micer that was on the cruise, and he was whack. Well, he wasn't that whack, but it was like he said he just wanted to introduce me, and he ended up doing like 15 minutes in front of me. But that's part of the gig. But that was the only time I've been to Mexico. And I haven't really explored South America, Brazil, and I like places where you can get cannabis down in those places, but it still gets a little hairball. But that's the weird thing. It's legalizing more in the United States than it is around the world. I guess, yeah, what's the amount of states right now? I mean, with legalized cannabis, 2020 states. Maybe I should have done some preparation. But who needs to prepare when you have Google? No, I mean, this is a part of the podcast, is just keeping it loose and goofy and kind of just dancing around a little bit. It's just things that are coming into your mind. That's what I've been working on. But this is what's been coming into my mind is how legal it is. Okay, they got a green map up here. Fully legal. Wow. Alaska, Colorado, Nevada, California, Oregon, Washington, Illinois, Michigan, Massachusetts, Vermont, and Maine. Wow. That's, okay, prohibited, where it's like absolutely prohibited. The last three states are Idaho, South Dakota, and Nebraska. And then you have Colorado smack dab in the middle of everybody. Like the cooler states are all legalized, but they don't put DC on here. Because the city of DC is fully legal, but that, everything is so wild. So how many states have legalized weed? So far there are 11 total recreational. Okay. But may lead to a few more joining them. New York, New Mexico, Minnesota, and Illinois are predicted to go fully legal fairly soon. Every U.S. state except for South Dakota, Nebraska, and Idaho has passed at least some legislation towards legal medical cannabis use. Huh. So, that's interesting. This coffee's great. I'm using this great ashtray called Pokeball. Shout out to Pokeball. I got the little small one, which is perfect. And I got a little small grinder, and I got a small one hitter, and I have completely outdoor grown, homegrown. Don't rip you up too much. I've been doing a lot of writing and performing, but the last few days I had to write on a project, like forced writing with a deadline. Deadlines are good. They really make you push through. So I've been like stretching and working out. I've been holding off on cannabis, and then somebody gifted me. I may have a sponsor for the website. For the podcast. Thanks for listening to the Cannabis Coffee Hour podcast. This is Bruce Lee's favorite podcast. The Ghost of Bruce Lee. Well, at least that's what somebody told me. I can say that this is the Ghost of Bruce Lee's favorite podcast, and that was somebody that a gnome told me that. So, if you don't believe that, talk to Buddha. I talked to Buddha today, meaning I zenned it out, meaning I stretched. I do these stretches lately. I've been doing like these I am meditation, manifestation things, like listening to while I'm stretching on my yoga pad. I'm doing my five Tibetan rites. Like I'm not doing them perfect because I went like a whole day on the desk on the computer, like 24 hours, like cranking on something. And I'm not even that super focused. Like I'm trying to be super focused, but one thing with this one book, Yoga in the Path of the Urban Mystic by Darren Main. I remember reading something. Reading about stretching and meditating, and I totally forgot what I was going to say. Well, that's all right on the Cannabis Coffee Hour. That happens. But I have been doing these stretches. Oh, I haven't been doing them perfect. Like I just been kind of working them in there. And they are kind of aerobic. It's if you check them out, you gotta like do reps of 25, and I would say they're close to like doing push-ups. I would say close to doing like 50 push-ups and 50 sit-ups, but in a better stretching type way. I think that's the only way. And I've also been doing a lot of the tennis ball. If you don't know this one, this is really good. Get yourself a tennis ball and put it on the carpet and then roll the tennis ball on your heel and you'll have an orgasm. No, I'm just kidding. You will have, it's good for your back. It helps your back. Today I was doing these stretches and I wasn't sure if it hurt my back. Like I said, that one time I got the row machine going, I whacked out my back by committing too hard to this one style, but I was too proud to not keep rowing, and I fucked my back up. And that's when I stretched more. You just gotta listen to your body when it's saying like, maybe you want to slow down here or do this here. Right now, it's been like hunker down and work on kind of some of these writing projects. And but I do have some live dates coming up, just some quick shows, but I'm booking hopefully something in Chicago really soon. I'm in talks with them and going back to Michigan, but in California. So I'm doing this great show called The Comedians You Should Know. They have a show of that in Chicago too, but they have one in Brooklyn, and I'm doing it on February 26th, and it's in this cool bowling alley. That doesn't even make sense, this cool bowling alley. I've been doing a lot of shows in bowling alleys, but this one's called Gutter, but they do bands there. It's a hip place. You should check it out if you're ever in Williamsburg. But they do a great, I think this is a Wednesday, February 26th. Yeah, a Wednesday. I'm doing a show. And then that next night, I'm at Caroline's in New York City, so check that out if you want to come out and check out a comedy show. Yeah, like I said, I've been mostly writing and then doing these stretches, and then I'm walking a little bit more. That's what I want to do this afternoon, is connect back to nature. I went out to New Jersey, and that was nice. I visited some family out there on my wife's side, and just hung out in the woods pretty much. And I hadn't done that in a while. But hopefully I need to do that more. In the city, you're just surrounded by concrete all the time. And the thing about concrete isn't bad. It's dog do on concrete is bad. I don't know if you hear that, but it sounds like a huge hairdryer outside. But somebody's drilling. They're doing some work on another apartment. Hopefully this won't bother the podcast too much, maybe you don't even hear it at all. Maybe especially if I go over here. I have to say, I am digging this coffee. I have been listening to a lot of reggae. Been listening to a lot of reggae, and what else? And some punk rock. What was I listening to? Some Green Day? Would you consider that punk rock? I've been listening to the Jonesy Jukebox. I like that dude. Steve Jones from the Sex Pistols. I like that. I've been listening to that a lot. And that's a trip that he's still around and still alive. And that he talks to people, and he was in the Sex Pistols. And I listened to the one that he's talking to Johnny Rotten, which is cool. I don't know why I'm drawn to punk rock. I think everybody is a little bit if you're into art, because it's just like great rebellion. And the good energy of it is like super empowering. It's pretty much just go and do it and don't judge anything and everything, and just fucking freak it out, dude, freak it out. They're clanging on these pipes, man. That's the ghost of Bruce Lee about to kick my ass for this podcast. Yeah, I've been meditating. I've been doing the stretches, but I haven't been perfect. You know, one time I just did 10 minutes. A couple times I didn't do it without the music. I usually listen to this music. Sometimes I light a candle. Sometimes I don't light a candle. You know, you just gotta mix it up, and whatever's like most comfortable for you to do in that moment. Yeah, just after those other gigs, I recorded this podcast, did a bunch of writing, hung out with the fam, chilled, did not practice the guitar. We're going to get to that. That's on the goal. A lot of it, I think, is all managing your time, you know. And I have just enough time to squeeze all of this in. If I'm really like at my peak mode, I can get everything done, but definitely need some help. And that's what was good. On Thursday and Friday, I did talk to somebody that is interested in possibly producing the show. And he has his hand in a lot of producing stuff, and I know him, and he has friends, and he wants to buy equipment. And so that could help out with just getting this a little more tight. But it's pretty tight. I've been listening to the last couple episodes. I mean, you know, I'm telling you, you can go to Costco and get this bomb-ass coffee, is what I'm telling you. It was $10 for like a 2-pound bag of this Mayorga Organics. You could probably get it cheaper even on the website. Mayorga Organics. This is some great. I would say this is up there with like Stumptown. But Stumptown, I wouldn't be surprised if they got their beans from Peru. Kind of feels like it has a good tone to it. But again, I want to try more beans from Puerto Rico, and, you know, Hawaii's got some bomb-ass beans. And I definitely want to try some of the herb from both those places and around the world. We're slowly building, you know, we're just growing the lawn out. We've been planting lots of grass seed out there. You know, it's been cold. We've been pouring lots of coffee on the grass out there in order to produce, you know, audio quality flowers for you guys. And that's what the Cannabis Coffee Hour is. It's audible flowers of billowing coffee into your eardrums. What's been billowing coffee into your eardrums? It's like good music. I've been listening to a lot of 90s rock, I have to say. A lot of like Dinosaur Jr. I've been listening to a lot of reggae, A lot of Grateful Dead. Been putting that on the, Alexa a lot, is the Grateful Dead. And what else did I put on there?
Here's something I found on reference.com.
No, be quiet.
Grateful Dead bear tattoos depict a smiling, dancing bear or series of bears. The dancing bear is an iconic symbol of the band Grateful Dead.
Cool. I don't know if you heard that, but she talked about the dancing bear. The Grateful Dead always had those bears. Yeah, they had art. They had trippy-ass art. They're just stoners that like to be drawn. Artists, weirdos. That's what this podcast is for. I love to draw. Drawing, I should do more. I may start drawing on this podcast. I got some good cue cards. But I also got my things to do list. And 7 positive emotions. This is from the book of Think and Grow Rich. Is the emotion of desire, the emotion of faith, the emotion of love, the emotion of sex, the emotion of enthusiasm, the emotion of romance, the emotion of hope. I think, just trying to build on faith. I've been working on this new music project. I've been doing all the beats and everything for this one song I'm excited about. I leaked out some of it to you guys on an earlier podcast. I'm not sure which episode. Because I have been doing this weekly. I've been doing my push-ups. I've been getting up. Now with the Tibetan, rites, the Tibetan stretches, like you don't do this push-up. You do like this downward dog. You kind of like, you kind of just hump the ground. But it's pretty, it does stretch your lower back out really good. Yeah, I've been stretching. I've been listening to a lot of reggae, a lot of Grateful Dead, and some rap tracks, some hip hop. I did listen to some of that Pop Smoke, who just passed away, this young hip-hop artist, because I just try to tune in what's going on, but he's from New York. That was the only bummer. And he died out in California and super young. But that was kind of like a headline that caught me, because I was trying to work on some of this other material that was asking to be more topical, so I was looking at all the headlines. And I have to say, I don't miss it. No, it's sometimes great to listen to NPR and the headlines and have everything going on. But you have to, right now my intention, I don't have that much time to listen to that much news. Well, I think I have all the time in the world. I just need to organize it a little bit better. But I think everybody's like that. I'm pretty good at it. It's just like, I gotta juggle like 3 or 4 writing things, and it's making me have to focus a bit more, which is good. That's all writing is like focus and pushing it forward, putting the pen to the pad, put the fingers on the keys, play 'em. Yeah, writing is a trip because it is a practice. I've been so much better with my meditation practice as I should on my writing, but I guess I have been working on my writing, and I've been performing at night, and I've been taping everything and submitting tapes to everywhere. So like on all fronts I've been working and just like slowly fine-tuning. I have to pat myself on the back a little bit on that stuff. And just to take it a little bit easy. I'm trying to learn to let things go, but kind of do it in a focused way. Like, this is where I'm going. Now I'm going to just let things go and let the universe kind of halfway, you got to work on faith and persistence, That helps with showbiz type shit. Hustling gigs, that's what we're all doing. Well, I don't know if you're doing. That's what I'm doing. Yeah. Um, I'm working on like 2 acting projects or stuff that I'm writing. One is the PMA one, and I'm working on those ideas. But then I got another one that I got to submit some ideas to, and then that I'm not really telling people about just yet. I'm working on organizing all these ideas. A lot of it's just organizing, and then where are you going to put your time into. But I have been good about, just taking time to meditate, trying to keep my mind right, and then keep my body right by stretching and taking like vitamin C every day and vitamin D and making sure I walk and making sure I can get out to nature and making sure I'm not on my phone too much. But sometimes you got to use it. Sometimes you got to record a podcast. Sometimes you got to record the Cannabis Coffee Hour. Shout out to Poke Bowl. They sent me some great swag. And I'm looking for some more. So if you want to, and if you're interested in, our numbers just broke, over 5,000 downloads. I'm not saying if it's per ep or not, but it's up there. Like things are moving up. And I do see if I keep doing it, the numbers go up. A lot of it is just like all linked to kind of like staying at it, working, flying the spaceship, flying the yellow submarine that is the Cannabis Coffee Hour. We are floating in a sea of coffee in our green submarine. I'm looking forward to doing episodes with full-on bong hits and get some more guests going. So I did talk to this guy, I'll say, not yet, but I may have a producer, may have a little bit of help on getting better. No, I don't need that better equipment. I just need a splicer on this. And then be a little bit persistent on the back end. But please like and subscribe. I see the numbers going up, but I need some ratings on the iTunes. I like to get in the mix. I do know some of these guys and some of the biggest podcasts out there. I do need to work that angle, but I kind of want to make sure I got the right project. And I got this music project coming up that I want to get some eyes on. And then I have been submitting tapes to places. So slow and steady, wins the race. But you also need to keep the steady going. Rock steady. Dun it, 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 dun it. Is that a rock steady beat? I'm not sure. I just always like that rock steady. There is a hip hop rock steady of the early days of hip hop. Rock steady. There's some record, and I think it's like the rock steady crew was a breakdance crew. Pretty sure that it's right. Yeah, breaking it hip hop. The Rocksteady crew, Crazy Legs, Frosty Freeze, Mr. Wiggles. Yeah, those guys were the biggest breakdancers of all time. Especially Crazy Legs. He had the best, there's top rock. He was the best footwork on the ground. He developed some of the most basic moves of all time. Not basic, the core, all the donkey kicks and all these super flips, I think kind of came from his style. And Frosty Freeze, Mr. Wiggles, those guys were popping lockers. Pretty sure. I think Frosty Freeze would do some windmills, get down on the floor. But then there's also Rocksteady Jamaica, right? I think there's a Rocksteady, that's a style of reggae. Yeah, reggae, rock steady reggae. The roots of reggae. Oh man, rock steady. Yeah, I think it was this type of music. And then reggae kind of came from the rock steady. I think it was like a up tempo or up, up, down, down, whatever that all funky, cool beat, reggae comes from, which is just like super slowed down. That's what I like about it. I heard it's good for your heart. Reggae is. I'm not sure about 2 French presses of coffee, but I heard it's not bad. And I don't know if I'll make it through this full-on second French press. Because I did eat like a bunch of dark chocolate as well. Somebody gave me some dark chocolate. And I ate, and I didn't eat lunch, and I just started pounding to the dark chocolate before getting on this podcast. So I might have to clear this place out here in a minute. But I'm having a blast doing this podcast. I'm trying to think what other songs and music I've been listening to. Like a lot of Grateful Dead live. And then yeah, I've just been doing a lot of research and all this. So I've been having to listen to the news. That's why it's nice to just like talk about go out to nature and stuff like that. And just getting away from it all. That's what it was nice I did this weekend. Like, I took a pee in the woods. It's always nice to take a pee in the woods. That's the most free you'll ever be. I need to write that down. And that doesn't cost anything, Peeing in the woods is the most free you'll ever be. Hope that might be something, sometimes when you write, if you're super stoned, you're like, what the fuck's that? But sometimes it's good. But that's how like writing is in everything. You just got to write a bunch of stuff down. And then you figure out or cross out or like, oh, that's not kind of whack. Or that's pretty good. Yeah, I enjoy writing. I don't know, it's a weird process, but there is a moment when you kind of zen out and then you're like, what the fuck? That's 3 pages or that's 4 pages? I remember a minute ago I was about to break down crying because I couldn't think of anything. Or just, mostly it's just focus. And then you just gotta like go when it comes. And then when you're going, you gotta just like, it's almost like popping a wheelie. A lot of like remaining into that creative focus zone. That free zone is like a creative popping a wheelie. And that's what we're doing here at the Cannabis Coffee Hour. We're just, popping creative wheelies. That's what I think freestyle rapping. I once went into like, I would try to freestyle rap on every episode. Maybe we'll get back into that. All ideas are good ideas or they're no ideas. They're just thoughts. I had a great conversation with Mike Kaplan. Check out his podcast, Broccoli and Ice Cream. I did an episode of that. And he meditates, and he's a great comic, and I've known him for years. So we had a really cool... I've been talking about, like, meditation, like I've been smoking weed. But it's kind of taken, like, I would say 50% of the weed smoking away. But sometimes when it's there, it's there. When it's not, it's not. A lot of it's just living in the moment and deciding like what works for you, what's good for you, what's good. Yeah, I've been. I need to read a little bit more, but I have been. But it's for this writing project, which has been just mostly on the internet, which isn't the most healthy way to read. The best way to read is on the toilet. That was an easy joke. I don't even know if that was a joke. I went for it, and then I was like, I don't know. Do you guys hear that beeping? I'm not sure. Yeah, somebody left their alarm. And somebody's like sawing downstairs. I'm not sure if you're picking up any of this. Maybe we'll walk to the front and I'll air it out. Need to water some plants over here. But some of these plants have been, they're just barely hanging in there for the winter. Not flourishing. But I think the winter is slowly going away. And soon, it's been a little bit warmer. Yeah, these plants are a little bit greener today. So that should be cool. Yeah, a lot of it's just the discipline and then the practice of doing, is writing constantly. And the more you do it, that's the same thing with podcasting and recording yourself. Is it more noisy back here? Yeah, it is. But I'm not sure if you guys are hearing it or not. I can take it into the front of the house. I'm just walking back and forth like a madman. Do you guys ever do that? Just catch yourself everybody's just walking back and forth. But then you catch yourself and you're like, okay, what am I fucking doing? Okay, I gotta go there. Gotta sit down there. No, I'm not really hungry. Oh shit, I just ate a half a pound of dark chocolate fucking almonds that somebody gave me. Oh shit. Are we still running? Oh good. I wasn't sure. Because it switched over and I was like, oh no. But maybe I turned it off and turned it back on. I'm just pounding this coffee. Yeah, it's just been fall forever. A little bit of sun breaks out here and there. And I'm just like, yo. The sun, but I don't know, just like a little bit of it being taken away, you appreciate it when it comes back around. And then people don't appreciate it. And you're like, what the fuck? I've been appreciating drinking more water. I've been doing that. I've been feeling really good health-wise. Ever since doing those 5 Tibetan rites, I mean, my body-wise, I've been thinking more and more about the body being the temple in, like, the Bible. That's pretty much true. Like, a church is just a church. Like, you live in this fucking flesh-covered thing that we're all walking around in this flesh suit. Like, you gotta treat this like the best of the best, or try to figure it out, or whatever works for you. I'm trying to, like, tap into my subconscious a little bit more and just let go and let my subconscious, if I just think good thoughts and think positive outcomes and think positive, just how I'm going to react to each. Oh, that's okay, this is a test, or I'll have to get through this to get through this. This is just part of life, type of situations. Thank God for coffee. Thank God for Peru. Thank God for all the llamas out there. Peru definitely has some llamas. I've heard. I do, out of all the animals, I think, if they're like, Rob, what do you want? I'd be like, a llama? I don't know about horse. Like, horse is a lot of upkeep. And they're so strong. Like, a horse will run over you. There's almost like a thing with a horse with me. I'm like, that thing's almost better than a human being. But it doesn't think, I guess our brain is bigger, And I don't think we're only like using 10% of our brain. That's the whole subconsciousness, like I've been reading about. Like, there's 3 layers. And that's what I've been doing in meditation. Like, some days I do it without any music or any like countdown or anything. And I've been just trying to be nothing, and be like, go, kind of just like dead the ego as much as you can. They say you can't fully ever kill your ego completely unless you're dead. There's always going to be a piece of it right there. But if you can get it down to a certain point and work from a place of being grateful all the time, and that like is the deal to attract good shit. And I'm grateful for this podcast. I'm grateful to be alive at this time. I'm grateful for learning all these things. I'm grateful for myself. I'm grateful for Alexa that I can play The Grateful Dead. I haven't seen like a concert. I haven't done any mushrooms or acid in years and years, any psychedelics, but they're becoming more and more mainstream, and we'll probably end up doing them on this podcast one day, because I see this podcast growing as legalization grows, and it's becoming more and more aware. That's what I find is happening, is an awareness. When people say, awakening or a spiritual thing going on, I don't think so. I think it's just everything's so bad, people are just sick of being bummed out. And cycles all come back around. There's always been a summer of love. Maybe another summer of love is coming, or something different. Usually it's something different. Technology is, maybe it's podcasts. As we all surf through this like yellow submarine of existence, this electronic submarine of existence that is podcasts and Google machines and Twitter handles. Ugh. Some of it's good and some of it's like, man, I just want to be on that tree right there. I heard all these like fucking birds. Nothing better than hearing birds. I'm hearing a chainsaw or some type of power saw in the background right now. But then there's also birds, and it's like, which one would you rather hear, birds or the chainsaw? But maybe the chainsaw if they're making a pad for you, Because living out in the wild, like, that's what's so weird, is like, we're not supposed to, like, our bodies are just not equipped, like, naked and afraid, like, out there in the wild, like, ball sacks are, very sensitive. What are you going to do? You always got to try to get some pants on. You always got to try to get some shoes on, especially in this weather. A lot of it's just, staying warm, staying dry, having shelter to sleep and take dumps. Indoor plumbing should blow your mind. I've been thinking about that, especially with huge buildings. I think about that a lot. Like when I walk by huge buildings and I'm like, oh my God, all those people can take dumps in that building, and it just like, they don't know where it goes. It just magically fucking goes. And everybody's just not walking around fucking awesomely amazed. Like, we should appreciate that. There's so much stuff to life that we need to appreciate. And I think just because we're so on top of each other, or we think we're on top of each other, that's where, like, I don't know. Let's see how much coffee I got left. Got a little bit. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do the coffee black, because it's pretty strong, but it's pretty good. But this is like my second one, so my gut, and I ate all that dark chocolate, so I'm like, oh, dude, I'm like burning a hole in my gut. A hole of dark chocolate and fucking coffee, which is a pretty good combo. It does give me, like, I don't know, chocolate gets me high. I don't know if it's coffee or what it is, but I know it's kind of good for your heart. So I've been eating that and a lot of cashews. These almonds that I had weren't that hard, which was nice. I don't trust almonds unless they've been softened. Dude, I want my almonds softened and I want my kale softened. Don't bring me no cardboard kale, man. Let me make sure I didn't turn this bad boy off. Oh, I didn't. We're still rolling, and we're still flowing, and we're still going. It's the Cannabis Coffee Hour. All kinds of noise, man. I took a shower right before this podcast. Yeah, my ass is clean, and my smile is sheen. I mean, mean? No, not like that. I'm just doing this like I like to rap. I'm killing it. I'm rocking it. I'm doing it twice. I'm Rob Cantrell. I'm really nice. Don't bite. This is just another show. Yeah, you know, this is how I flow. Go, go. DC. Rob Cantrell on the MIC, where it's the Cannabis Coffee. I've been debating whether calling this coffee hour. Because sometimes I want cannabis, but maybe I'll listen to this and like, dude, you're spacing out way too much on the mic. I mean, but then I think a lot of it's like, I do feel better after I smoke cannabis and I'm more positive. So that way I'm putting like more positivity into my brain and I'm putting more positivity out into the universe. I think that's what a lot of cannabis is about. But I love how we got to take this to Amsterdam because I think they would love the Cannabis Coffee Hour. I would love if America would do it like Amsterdam. That's kind of where I think they should go. At least go and study how they did it and then, you know, work it from these 11 states. That would probably be... Yeah, the politics in this new election, I don't want to get political, but it is like ever looming and awesome and fascinating. And I do love our country and I do vote, but I just didn't like the negative energy and everything's kind of a game and it's like I only have so many hours for whichever game I'm playing and that's not the game that's really making me money, but it is, I guess it plays with our money in a longer type game, but it is our country and our Constitution. So it's like, you got to be engaged. But a lot of it is like, I grew up in DC, so I'm just like a little bit numb to it. And it wasn't something that gravitated to me naturally. Let's put it that way. I got to take a leak. Well, that might be a good spot to take a stop. We've gone from 47 to 48 minutes. We'll put some beats on there and call it a show. I appreciate you guys hanging out. Check out this Peruvian coffee. Check out your friend's homegrown. Keep it light, keep it heavy, keep it lean, keep it mean. Stay funky. Don't ever fake the funk. And thanks for listening. I'm gonna go listen to some punk rock.
Uno, dos, tres, cuatro.